Welcome back, everyone, to another game. Never mind, that's not the replay I was looking for. Welcome back, everyone, to Lethal Gaming. It's your host, Lethal, here, bringing you another game of Age of Empires 2, this classic, wonderful, lovely game. Today, I got a rank game for you guys, and I think I'll be doing a lot of rank games, because I have been trying to play ranked and climb up the ladder, not just for 1v1 RMs, but team RM games as well. They are definitely a little different than normals. I have been playing more kind of conservative strategies. I don't do like really cheeky strategies, but there was one game where I did do a cheeky strategy, a kind of a difficult higher tier one that I'm not too comfortable with, and I did lose the game pretty badly. But trial and error, guys. Practice makes perfect, and that's the only way you're going to learn and get better at the game. Before I continue, let's introduce the players, guys. We have Red as Franks, who is lethal, and our blue player T Bricks is the Malians. He's luring in a boar and solid boiler. Not even a single hit on the villager. Really nice, really nice. Has 5 on it. Interesting, guys. Notice that he has 5 on the boar. He's sending 3 to wood right away. I wonder what he's doing. Does this mean dock potential? Again, guys, I didn't play this game. I do not know anything about it, but we will kind of work on our talking and casting as we watch the game. I'll do it in such a way that I didn't play the game. You know what I mean, guys? I wasn't here. This was a clone Lethal. This was not me. Lethal is using his, goose. These aren't turkeys. I was about to say turkeys, but these are goose. He's using his goose. He's sending out a villager early on to wall up, build a house, and whatnot. But notice this, guys. This is a fail of a century. What are the odds? Look at this beautiful tree line. It stops right there. Guys, this is important. Make sure to always scout and not assume. But I notice how I deleted the wall. I'm like, rip. Don't need that there. Luring in a boar. Villager is almost going down. Nice. Oh. Oh, there we go. Almost lost the villager. A little bit of misclicking there. Could have been probably the scout. Paying attention to the scout or something. I don't know. But this game was decent. I know I say that a lot, but I'm trying to find you guys good games, and I'm not really particular on games I win or lose, but recently I have been casting games that I have won, and they have been really good games. And trust me, guys, I lose games, and sometimes I lose horribly, so don't think I'm like undefeatable climbing up the ranks. Let's take a quick look at Red. So blue, notice how he pretty much quits wasting his time and goes walls that. Guys, this is a rare circumstance. I just really wanted to point out real quick. But it's important to scout something like that, because if this tree was gone, that would mean a hole. Technically, not a hole if we finish the wall. Blue is utilizing a different strategy, guys. This map is 4 lakes. Let me introduce the map real quick to you as well. He has a dock built. He has 7 on wood already, and he still persists with 5 on board. He isn't really concerned about land, food, resources. He's still utilizing them, but he isn't as concerned. What does 4 lakes mean, guys? You have 1 lake north, 1 lake west, 1 lake east, 1 lake south. Franks is also going to utilize his docks, but not as early as Blue. He has 1 fishing ship out. Blue already has 2 fishing ships out. Unfortunately, Blue is not queuing up a 3rd fishing ship. There he goes. Probably because, boom, notice that he drops a dock. This is an interesting Malian strategy. Ooh, a little bit of fight here. Franks gets a hit on the Malians. Scout cavalry, guys. 45 HP, 42 HP, and a relic chilling in the distance. Notice this house. He is building a house, I'm guessing for vision. I didn't scout this, however. If we go take a quick look at Lethal's Fog of War, he isn't even bothering scouting whatever's there. I did not and wasn't aware the whole game that our Malians player T Bricks was twerking it up. North corner, west corner, building docks like it's nobody's business. But I had a feeling Guys, his score was incredible, and I was like, what? This guy must be docked in more than one area, but I didn't care. I told myself I will be focusing on what I'm doing, and I'll be focusing on land. He can take water, I'll take land, and try to justify it that way. Notice how he's building a second lumber camp. That's great. He has 10 villagers. Guys, I see the golden number 7. I've been watching a lot of pros play, and they do 9. So I go from 7 to 9. I've been doing 9 recently just because it does help with certain strategies. You save a little bit of wood, 100 wood on a lumber camp to build like an extra stable. But then again, guys, if your villagers clump up and a few of them get glitched, you can lose the wood that way if it happens. But if you're good with your micro, it doesn't happen that often. He has 4 fishing ships in the north. His 5th one came out. He has 2 here, guys. Notice the population difference. He's at 31. Lethal is at 28. So not that much of a difference for all of his efforts. Lethal has 2 fishing ships queued up. He has 5 out as we speak. 1 villager gathering the shorefish. Fun fact for you. Shorefish is the most efficient gathering food in the game. I recently learned that watching a Red Bull Wallalow tournament. Red is walling up, and apparently catching shorefish is the most efficient catching food method in the game. I didn't know that. He's walling up as well. He's continued to finish his north side of the wall. Almost fully walled. Just in case our blue player, Malians T-Bricks, goes for an aggressive gameplay. He's scouting the nether lake. He's found out that there's nothing there. Red is sending a cheeky villager. He builds a nether dock, guys. Notice the wood he has, but he isn't queuing up docks from each... He's not queuing up fishing ships from each dock. He only has 1 fishing ship queued up. He has 3 docks. That is kind of a side mistake. He does send his villager in. I guess it's going to scout, but Red finds T-Bricks villager coming into his base, and he's going to get a little quick pick here. It goes down. Ripperino, Lamazino, take care. Hail Marys to that villager. 6 fishing ships are out for Red. Let's compare the pop again. 32 to 36. Blue has 5 fishing ships. 6. So he has 11 fishing ships. Really nice. He builds a barracks. He's starting to quick wall. He knows that Red is fully walled. He's like, good idea. I should probably go wall myself. He is building a lot of gold. He's putting a lot of villagers in gold. Building a stable right off the bat, guys. He's going for some military. Look at the wood, the food. He can literally hit Castle Age in a split second, which he's probably planning to do so. It will be a solid Castle Age timing. Let's take a quick look at Lethal. He has his market down. He has his blacksmith. He just exchanged a little bit of resources, sold some food for gold, and bought the Castle Age. He is going up to Castle Age at 1335 essentially. He has how many fishing ships? 9 fishing ships, so he's at a disadvantage. 37 pop for that. Notice the early stone, guys. Remember, Franks, they have a cheap stone cost, and this guy got in. I was like, what the heck? There must be a hole. Good reaction by Lethal. Finds the hole instantly. He's gonna block it off and whatnot. A little bit of action here, running into the TC, but Blue doesn't have many villagers under his TC. He probably has like 2, so can't kill and pick off the scout that is scouting his base. Blue notices like, what the heck? Where the heck is where are his villagers? He's not gathering this gold. Doesn't bother going in there. Sees the spearman, clocks out and runs out, but T-Bricks doesn't really care. He's just chilling, you know, doing his thing, doing his strategy and whatnot. Building a 3rd dock. Holy smokes. I mean a 4th, but taking a 3rd lake. That's what I meant to say, guys. He's taking a 3rd lake, building his 4th dock. Population lead 42. Has plenty of fishing ships. Could definitely keep queuing them up, but he is buying men-at-arms. Going, I guess, defensive. Trying to get ready for some kind of barracks play. Not really sure what his thought process is right now, but maybe he wants to build some military for... Oh, building another dock. Oh, this is great, guys. If only he was queuing up fishing ships from each dock, that would skyrocket his eco like crazy. A little bit of combat here. Scouts go off into a battle. Blue Scout is stuck, but he is getting vision of Red's base. Red has 12 fishing ships. I mean, 11 fishing ships. And he has reached the castle age, guys. Remember, one thing I wanted to point out, which I already pointed out, but elaborating it more, is the fact that Frank's castles are cheaper. He has 42 pop. At this point, Red's like, look at my score, look at Blue's score. Blue's doing so great. He must be utilizing the other docks. At this point, I had no doubt that our blue player was utilizing the other docks. Loses the scout. He continues to produce. Actually, he isn't producing fishing ships. I guess he felt like he had enough. But he does have plenty of fishing ships, which will give him a solid income and food, pretty much, resource. Fishing ships gather quite quickly, and notice how many fishing patches are here. How many fishing spots. They're just an incredible amount. He has 2 town centers. He's up by 2 town centers. His score is skyrocketing like crazy. At this point, I'm like, yeah, this guy's definitely utilized all the water. I'm just gonna, like I said before, try to take ground, try to drop TCs, try to get, as well as defensive aggressive, kind of take a hill right off the bat. This was a decent placement. Could have maybe gone a little further just to secure the hill more, but in general, not a bad placement. It's closer to the gates, so I guess it could stop traffic with researches added to the castle. Red at this point is just trying to take ground, trying to secure his base, as well as take ground, claim territory. Like, tell Blue, hey, you can't have this hill. If you're going to be aggressive, I already have a castle here. He is popping out some axemen. He's dropping a 4th TC, or a 3rd TC, my bad. He's dropping a 3rd TC and starting to seed farms. Guys, notice how he isn't seeding farms at the moment. Red Scouts is like, oh snap, look at this. He must have that lake. He definitely has this lake, and he probably has a 3rd lake. Notice how Red is floating so much food, and he just starting to seed farms. Like, he literally doesn't need to seed much farms. And if he had more gold income, he could go to Imperial Age real quick. 300 more food, 530 more gold, 20 more gold, and he's up there. Idle villager, get to twerk. He's sending some axemen to scout, kind of seeing what Blue's up to. Blue is continuing to wall off his base. Red is at 66 pop on 3 TCs. Blue is 67 pop now, so Lethal has caught up. He finally started to queue up fishing ships. He is walling up. The score is shining, but he definitely could practice on his performance to keep queues going, not floating too many resources, whatever his game plan is, and whatnot. Kind of prioritize resources, drop another TC, build more fishing ships, build more houses, not to get capped. But one thing I'll say, guys, you'll get better as you play. He is starting to change his strategy, guys. Notice that he drops bloodlines and scout cavalry. He notices the axemen, the anti-infantry troop. You do not want to build infantry troops against axemen. Axemen are anti-inf. So that's just another kind of tip. He drops... Oh, he doesn't have another TC. He pretty much garrisons his town center. Lethal pulls his axemen off, poking around, getting some vision. And whatnot, guys. This is low elo. I have to just remind myself every time I play these games is not to put pressure. I feel like I usually put more pressure on myself than I put on the players, guys. Because the score could be deceiving. Now look at the scores, they're even, and the players are definitely in a low bracket. So I'm not dealing against like players who know how to queue everything up and whatnot always. But I have played against some decent players in this game. Like, there were games where I played against a player with 130, 140 villagers, solid gameplays, and so on and so forth. Lethal is buying fletching. He is trying to get some more range on his castles. He is dropping a forward castle here. He has scouted the docks. He's assuming that he has this dock as well. So he knows that Blue is in the lead with fishing ships. But that's where his strategy came into play. He's like, okay, if Blue has water, I'm going to take land. He probably isn't focusing on land that much. Notice how many fishing ships Red still has. He has 19 fishing ships. He's queuing up 4 villagers. He has a 4th TC in this corner. He is utilizing that food, dropping more farms, has a few idle villagers. The castle go up, guys. The castle is up. It is putting pressure on our blue player. He's starting to kind of enclose him. He wants to block his kind of ability and map control. He wants to like block him off here, an ability to escape this pressure. Blue, however, is dropping a defensive castle. Red notices this, but he's going to have a late reaction timing because he sent these guys to go kill those 2 villagers. Red's pulling off his axeman. Maybe not. Blue is pulling off, building some knights. He's pulling off a little bit of a strategical change. He builds a knight. He sends it forward. He has a defensive castle. He is going up to the Imperial Age, guy. That's one thing I'd noticed with these kind of players in this bracket. They go to the Imperial Age so early, and I'm like, how's this possible? They must not be building anything. Must not be queuing up anything or whatever. Because if you go into hard eco, right now, I'm at 113 pop, but I'm nowhere near clicking on Imp. I am buying chainmail armor, so that does affect your ability to go throughout the ages. The more researches you buy, the slower the process is. Unless they're economical researches. A late wheelbarrow from the Franks. Could have bought wheelbarrow earlier. Guys, it's ideal to buy wheelbarrow around like 15 farms. A little bit of idle villagers. Trying to multitask. He's totally completely walling off Blue on this end. Trying to make sure he doesn't get out. And isn't anywhere near clicking the Imperial Age. But Lethal is at 119 pop. His score is shining. Blue is at 82 pop. He's going up to the Imperial Age. He's starting to build a Gabetto. He drops 2 stables. Lethal has Bodkin Arrow, 8+2, doing damage on his buildings. 1 TC goes down for Blue. Guys, he isn't down in the gutter, but he kind of is in the gutter, just a little bit. He's buying a fishing upgrade. Gill nets, I think it's 15% faster fisherman, but he is about to run out of little fish patches, so he's gonna have to start seeding fish traps, essentially. Instead of seeding farms, building fish traps to have almost an unlimited food supply, guys. Those fish traps last forever. They're like 8 or something like that. 800 food per fish trap. Notice how he is building knights. He is buying iron casting. He is starting to build a military, guys. This is what can kill you. If you go full eco and your opponent goes full military and you don't match his numbers, even though the population difference could be great, like notice the 135 to 93. I guess this is an over boom. I need to learn at like 115 to stop building, buy the Imperial Age, and then continue booming. That's probably another thing I should keep in mind for myself. A little relic being collected right here. What a convenient relic for Lethal. Lethal finally clicks on the Imperial Age, noticing that, oh snap, Blue's in the Imp. Gotta do it quick. He's gonna start pumping out trebuchets, which he does build the trebuchet. He's buying the cavalry upgrade. He is buying chain barding armor to make his cavalry more stronger and defensive against archer fire and melee attacks. Another thing, guys, I want to mention with Malians, they do have a research. Farimba, cavalry +5 attack, guys. Their cavalry is very strong. Their early on cavalry gets a huge bonus, so it's highly advised to go light cavalry, go Cavaliers. It's a fairly inexpensive research. 300 food, 200 gold for Cavalier, and they're a fairly strong Cavalier troop. Plus, with the +5 Farimba tech from the castle, it's a unique tech that Malians have, and they're the only ones that have it. Red is trying to repair this castle. At this point, Red is stalling. He's probably just trying to buy time. Blue is building a military, kind of collecting them, starting to push out, kind of massing up the numbers. He's starting to push out and put a little hurt on Lethal's villagers. But the thing is, guys, he notices the castle, he pulls off, and he runs back. Let's take a quick look at Lethal's reaction. Notice that he queues a militia. Rip, this is what happens when you're still learning your hotkeys, or you're just clicking too fast and you misclick some stuff. Lethal is ready, guys. He's ready for the next stage. He's ready to buy upgrades, ready to build troops, but he is house capped. The castle went down. He's building another defensive castle. At this point, he's just trying to buy time. He's like, oh snap. He's massing up stables, guys. Remember, never give up. I had a thought in this game to give up at one point. You'll see what I mean. Lethal goes up to the Imperial Age. He has tons of queues, but never give up, never surrender, guys. Until you know it's over, don't do it. Just keep playing. He buys the Cavalier research, but it isn't being researched because it's in a queue with a knight that can't get built. Another castle goes down. Lethal gets capped. House capped. He has no production. A castle goes up, so now he can start building knights and army. Now he's 170 out of 154 pop. Notice the work, guys. Farimba has been researched. 12 plus 7. Lethal tries to micro his axemen back. Really well played by Lethal. Dropping back with his axemen. Keeping them safe. Taking these guys back to the castle. He doesn't have murder holes, however, so they can't really help out. Cavalier research is on the way. Lethal sends a few knights, trying to bully these trebuchets and kill them, but he isn't really microing well. He manages only to get one trebuchet. He is moving his army towards this castle, trying to protect his territory, building a trebuchet on this end. He is trying to defend, guys. He isn't dead yet, but you know what I mean? That feeling like, oh snap, this guy is advanced in Imperial Age. He has upgrades on me. He's wrecking my army. What do I do? I'm like, play the patient game. Mass up in your numbers. Buy the researches. Wait till I get my stuff researched, and then I'll have that advantage over him. I am buying Blast Furnace right after Plate Barding Armor, so I will be getting the +2 last attack upgrade and whatnot, and matching him. But he already has all the researches, guys. He is beating me on researches. I have Cavalier. Notice 12 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 2 plus 4. He has 12 plus 7, 2 plus 3, 2 plus 4. So we are matched for defense upgrades, but we're not matched for attack upgrades. Lethal is taking a forward. He is trying to fight this. Blue has mostly Cavalier on the field. He has one Gabetto, like 2 or 3 pikemen in the mix. But unfortunately, Lethal is pulling everything he can. He is starting to lose this battle. Fortunately, it's coming out in favor of Blue. He brings in the monk to convert, but doesn't manage to do so. Definitely, he's like, oh snap, gotta re-garrison my production buildings. Make sure I send the task rally point to a safer location. Another castle's going down. The third castle. 1, 2, or is that the fourth castle? Boom, fourth castle. Getting wrecked for Lethal. He drops another defensive castle. He is probably about to drop another defensive castle. Guys, notice what happens here. Paladin research. He was floating the resources, but he did it with good intention, guys. With good reasoning as well. Blue is starting to push forward. Lethal's like, oh snap. I can't let him get on my base, and if he does, I have to have at least some kind of defensive structure. So Lethal drops the castle. He's beginning to quick wall. Boom, boom. Quick walls this side, quick walls this side. He is going to quick wall his base, make sure that Blue can't get in. He's just buying time at this point. He's waiting for the Paladin upgrade to kick in. He queues up more Cavaliers. Oh, hopefully the castle goes up 86, 90. It's going to go up, guys. It's going to push Blue back, send him home, and maybe not. Maybe he'll chill and fight under the castle. All right, guys, let's see. I don't remember the game fully, even though I played this a couple days ago. And the battle continues, guys. Lethal is trying to micro his Cavaliers. He's running around a little bit. He doesn't want to take the full-on fight because Paladin is about to go up. He's like, okay, Paladin's up, I'll be fine. Paladin's up, I'll be fine. Just hold this place. Could send a few of these to fight against the trebuchets. Definitely a miss micro there. Instead, he sent these. Paladin research goes up, guys. Heck yeah. Lethal has the Paladin research. He's at 170 pop. Still has villagers queue up. Still trying to boom at this point. Let's take a quick look at the Malians player. Paladins are starting to wreck the Cavaliers, guys. Notice the difference between Paladin. 14 plus 4. Huge HP spike. 192 against 140. Malians resigns, guys. As soon as Paladin kicked in, Malians gave up and called it a GG. He is sending a few more military forward, but he doesn't have enough to finish off Lethal. Lethal went full land. Decent boom. But could definitely practice multitasking more because, you know, those trebs were trebbing this castle when he had Cavalier coming up here. But he was mostly focused on this area to micro against the Cavalier as well and not lose his numbers, which was very important as well. Let's take a quick look at Blue's population. 85, guys. Notice how he stopped producing fishing ships. He could have just used more fishing ships and gotten all of his food that way and just use villagers on gold, wood, and stone here. He wouldn't even have to seed farms. With this many docks, guys, and this much fishing ships, this many fishing ships, you don't need a food source from land. That's just a little tip and a little mistake that Blue made. I would say another mistake that maybe Lethal made, he should have went on the aggressive, because Blue was playing defensive. He did only have like one or two troops out in the beginning, so could have just quick walled his villagers, dropped a castle, and whatnot. But it's okay. This defensive placement was fine. His strategy wasn't to kill his opponent early on. His strategy was to go to the Imperial Age, build the Paladin. That was his goal, and that's what he achieved. So it came out well for him and pretty much won him the game. Notice these three guys chilling here, killing houses. If he brought all of his army, put a lot of pressure, maybe put a little hurt on the eco before the Paladin research went up, Blue could have probably been a better spot, but because he has a worse economy and the population difference is huge, at this point he killed himself. Lethal can afford almost infinite paladins once he starts selling his resources, gathering more gold, getting his villagers back on work and back on gold. And without a counter like camels or pikemen, it's hard to deal with paladins or monks. But how many monks can you build? You know, if you don't have 40 monks in the field, good luck killing 40 paladin. GG, well played, guys. Enough said. I think that Blue did great in the sense he took 3 lakes. Lethal didn't react, didn't care about it. He let him have him, but he didn't utilize it fully, so that was kind of a mistake. And secondly, Lethal did do a pretty solid boom, but definitely could have committed more on the aggression, or I would say at least stop booming and buy the Imperial Age earlier. That was another mistake. Blue imped early, and notice the reward for imping early, having a little army and 2 trebs. He took down all of Lethal's castles. Lethal couldn't react to that, couldn't fight it off in the sense of, like, what do? You send your army, get it slaughtered. He doesn't have any cav, so he couldn't run and hit him, and then he couldn't build his own trebs because he wasn't Imperial Age yet. GG, well played. Enough said. Let's quickly go take a look at the score, fam bam. Military score. Wow, Blue came out on top with military. Economy, Red came out on top big time. Technology is almost the same. Definitely Red had more castles. Score came out on top. Units killed 73, only 70. Interesting. Interesting, even though the score difference is huge. I killed more than him. Oh, he had a larger army. I guess that plays a role. But I did have a teched out army. Full Imperial teched Paladin, super OP. And remember, guys, with Frank's Paladin, they have a bonus HP, so 192. I'm pretty sure the normal HP is 180 for a Paladin. If I'm wrong, you guys could correct me on that. Definitely, he destroyed 16 buildings. I lost 16 buildings, guys. Most of those were castles. Good job by T-Bricks with that gameplay, guys. 12,000 food collected, 8,000 wood. Definitely had the worst economy. He just wasn't pumping out those fishing ships like he could have and should have. Had a solid Imperial Age timing and almost the same Castle Age timing and just a little bit of later Feudal Age timing because he was probably focused more on fishing ships and whatever the reasons are, guys. Notice the villager high over boomed like crazy. Didn't need the villagers. But he was building an expensive army, so it's okay. 50 paladin on the field would be nice, and then delete some to get more is another strategy, guys. To overboom, get more resources, build that army quickly, buy the researches quickly, because it takes time to save up for paladin. I actually stopped production queue to upgrade for paladin. Tons of villagers, but on the other hand, blue didn't have much, and red did have that relic gold. A little bit of bonus, little nice addition. Guys, one epic battle at the end, which solidified the game. Wasn't the biggest battle, but it was definitely a small battle indeed, and the tech research came clutch to win the game, guys. GG, well played. Enough said. As always, guys, love y'all. Stay lethal. Till next time, peace out.